Katatonia's new album, Sky Void of Stars, is out today.
This is one of our favorite bands. We are really eager to get into their entire discography. Stick around for it. We're going to review the new one at the end.
For our criteria, we've got 2 in S tier, 1 for each of us because we don't want to battle S tier. These albums are important. And then we have 2 in A tier, and then everything else is whatever.
Yeah, we're going to start from the top of their discography, their earliest album, which is Dance of December Souls, 1993.
I love this record, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. I could see why you would say kind of, yeah.
I love what it did for the Doom community.
Yes.
That's probably the most important piece of it to me. The atmosphere on this record absolutely rules. The guitar harmonies, I would argue, are probably the best part. The band feels a little bit unfocused, but it's their first record. There's some great Doom moments that a lot of people love and a lot of people emulate today. I barely revisit it, though, and there's only 2 awesome songs, Gateways to Bereavement and Without God.
Dude, those are the 2 that I have in my list too, because they're so fucking stand out. They're unbelievably good. This is really like a lot of the early melodic Doom bands had like raw production, had very raw musicianship. The drums are like kind of wonky on this album. The transitions are not very good. They're like sloppy. This really is probably my least revisited album. It really is considered by many to be a pinnacle release in the subgenre that really spearheaded the melodic Doom thing now. I have it at D. D for December Souls.
Yeah, December D tier. I have December Souls in C tier, but I kind of agree with you. We always have room to move it up at the end. So
sure,
we'll start at D tier.
Yeah, that works.
That goes into one of the bigger and more influential albums that Katatonia put out, Brave Murder Day. This came out in 1996. This is a genre-defining record in a lot of ways, especially with the melodic doom genre. A lot of melodic doom bands go back to this one from the start. That down-tempo rock sound with depressive riffs is pure ear candy, and it's a lot of why we just absolutely love this genre in general. The harsh vocals, though, can get repetitive. Michael Ackerfeld does sound great on this record. Cool fun fact, your Opeth boys on this album, but the drums sound weak as hell. I actually don't remember them sounding that meh to me. Still, with songs like Brave, Murder Day, Rain Room, it's B tier.
Dude, yeah. I really thought that this was better than their debut. I mean, I actually put that Ackerfeld on vocals is pretty awesome, although I do agree it is a bit formulaic. Their contemporaries, I think, were like looking over their shoulders and like being like, oh, so that's like what we should do, huh? You know, modern bands, Death White, Rapture, Counting Hours, Paradise Lost are all pulling from this playbook, and they will be until the subgenre dies. You know, dude, I saw them in 2006 and they played Murder. Dude, the place went nuts, man. They closed the set with Murder. The whole place went ballistic. I really like this album. Of their older ones, this is one of my more revisited. Murder, Rain Room, 12, I think is one of their better, like, minimalist songs.
Is something gonna happen today?
I put this one at B+ for me.
Yeah, it's B tier for me, without a doubt. It's an album that I still revisit this day. It's a ton of fun. This was almost my S tier, but because we only each get one S tier, I had to make some decisions. I'll get into it later. This album is so emotional and well written. There's a fantastic vibe for depressive rock and doom that has just been, in my opinion, very hard to match ever since this album came out. What's cool too is it's a sloppy record. Like the riffs are like, sometimes like they feel a little bit unresolved sometimes, but it's just so emotional and impactful. Every song is gorgeous, and those imperfections just make it better, man.
I'm pretty sure I texted you I would die for this record because like, dude, it really is. It's one of those like, just like those pinnacle things where like it comes into your life when you need it, you know? And that's just how I found this album. Haunting, discouraging, melancholic, sorrowful, yet somehow it really pulls all the sad feels feels together and wraps them up into like this digestible package. It's not like Warning, where if you listen to Warning, it feels heavy. It's like the weight of it is like, holy fuck. Like this feels very like, oh, this is sad, but like in a light kind of way. It's fucking awesome. Perfectly paced. 47 minutes is just enough to make you sad, stay a little longer than is like kind of comfortable, and then it like gets out of there. And then you're like, oh wow, that was like refreshing, but in a sad way. Dude, this is the pinnacle of melodic doom, gothic metal rock for me. This is my S tier, man. I love this album.
I don't blame you, man. And I will totally support your S tier decision for Discouraged Ones, because I Break, Dead House, Cold Ways, Gone, Saw You Drown. Just the whole record is
Front
genre
to back,
defining.
dude, there isn't a bad song.
It's so good. Tonight's Decision from 1999. It's a dark and moody album with a lot of memorable melodies. I'll give it that. And I do enjoy this record. Some of the best Katatonia songs that have ever been written are on Tonight's Decision. You know, songs like For My Demons, I Am Nothing, and Right Into the Bliss. Those are all defining moments. Sad emotional tracks mixed with hooks and heavy down-tempo rock. It's more of their flavor, but in my opinion, a little bit of a miss compared to Discouraged Ones.
Okay, yeah, this is an album that I really cut my teeth on. It was actually the first few songs that I heard from Katatonia were I Am Nothing, For My Demons, like as a single, and I was like, holy fuck, dude, this is crazy good. Pacing is a bit off, 54 minutes feels a little bit long for this like variety of like sad rock kind of stuff. A couple of the songs are like, I mean, outside of these minor gripes, I really think that this is one of the more stunning pieces of gothic doom kind of stuff. Really good production. It's lo-fi enough to kind of keep you sad, but modern enough to kind of keep it timeless. You can listen to this one now and it still sounds fine.
Yeah,
so
it sounds 90s.
Yeah, I have it at B+. I know you have it at C.
We could do B+ if you want. I mean, we're kind of agreeing there in a lot of ways.
Let's put it behind Brave Murder Day.
Behind. B for behind Brave Murder Day. Last Fair Deal Gone Down came out in 2001. It's a good album, delves into more of the alternative rock territory. Awesome lyrical themes and melodies, though. A few of the best songs that Katatonia ever wrote are on Last Fair Deal Gone Down. Really good production, too. That's something they've clearly stepped up and continue to improve at this era of the band. Tear Gas, Chrome, Tonight's Music, those are all great songs off of this record.
Yeah, this was the first album I actually bought from them as a teenager, listened to it a shitload of times. This marks my like most listened to era of the band. Drummer Daniel Linkvist really turned this band on his head, dude. Like, holy shit. The introduction of the Norman Brothers from October Tide, like, dude, this is just probably my favorite lineup of this band. It's just so good. Despite this being a transition album, it sounds like they started listening to a lot of Tool. Some of the songs are definitely like really half-baked. I can't help but see this as kind of a cornerstone, though, where the band kind of turned the corner more into like that alternative prog metal territory. Songs like Dispossession, We Must Bury You, and Tonight's Music are all fucking standout. The rest of the album, though, is kind of I have it at C+. I had it higher originally, but after kind of going through this whole thing, I was like, yeah, it's probably like C territory for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Viva Emptiness from 2003. This is where the band just sounds like Tool with some sad, depressive vibes.
Yeah.
The production sounds kind of weird to me, too. The kick drum sounds just like a stick breaking every time it hits, and it drives me a little crazy, so I don't really visit this album too much. There are way better options, but Evidence and Ghost of the Sun are great Katatonia songs.
Dude, I have those as well as Will I Arrive as a couple of my favorites. I mean, I like the proggy kind of trajectory that Last Fair Deal did, but this one kind of injected a bit heavier elements, some grittier elements. I think it's more refined than Last Fair Deal. I think it showcases some of their heaviest material, like chunky wise and stuff like that the band has done. I have it at B. I like this era, and I think that this is a better approach to what they were doing versus Last Fair Deal.
I can kind of see that. To me, this is my least favorite out of all of this era of the band. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm fine putting it at B for now.
Let's drop it at C.
Okay.
Let's drop it at C.
Okay, we're going to do C. Viva C. I mean, so far, this is making a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I think that looks okay so far.
Yeah. This is where your boy Brandon starts getting real pumped about Katatonia albums. This is like the mid 2000s, early 2000s era where Katatonia is just getting real heavy with their songs. So Great Cold Distance in 2006, their newer and heavier progressive doom sound comes out in full force on this record. Unbelievable production. Everything hits like a fucking truck. Some of the best Katatonia songs that are in their entire career are on this record. And out of their newer material, I reach for other records, but this one is still very, very important. Notable tracks, Leaders, holy shit. Deliberation, unbelievable track. My Twin is probably up there with their top 10 of all time. And then July, insane.
Dude, I tend to really enjoy this middle clump. Like I said, this is probably my favorite era. All of the songs on this record are like absolute staples. This was the time that they were starting to get into the North American touring circuit. I saw them starting in 2006. I think was one of the first times that they came over to the States. And dude, they were just firing on all cylinders. They sounded amazing. They were picking great tour mates with Daylight Dies, Moonspell. Fucking awesome, dude. The balance of like the prog and the gothic elements on this record are fucking perfect. I don't think that a lot of the fans are gonna notice the undercurrents of like the melodic doom, but it's there. Dude, even after hearing one of their new songs, I always go back to like July or Soil Song getting stuck in my head. This is the pinnacle of like what they sound like now. This is my A+, really. I love this record a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I have them at B, but I'd be fine putting this at A.
Okay, yeah.
To be honest, out of their newer material, we're gonna probably battle a little bit on the next one, but
grappling.
Yeah, but I mean, I can totally see this being A for a lot of people.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with this album. One of my all-time favorites of the band, Night is the New Day in 2009. This album blew my fucking mind when it came out. I didn't think that they could top the last record. Unbelievably heavy, gorgeous production, and some awesome industrial and post-metal vibes on this record too, which is really cool. I don't know how they did this, but somehow made this record heavier than The Great Cold Distance. So many amazing songs. Everything is top-notch and solid. Forsaker is insane. The Longest Year, unbelievable melodies, super catchy. Idle Blood and Departer is one of the most emotional and underrated Katatonia tracks, I think, in their whole discography. So I have this at A.
I remember you sitting me down and being like, dude, have you listened to this album? And I was like, nah. And you were like, listen to Departer. And we listened to Departer together, and I was like, okay, you changed my mind about this. This is really good. The last two tracks fucking make this album for me. Besides that, though, I think it's kind of samey. I think that the vocal patterns are not very diverse. They kind of like just float on top of the riffs and like following like these same few patterns. I think other bands like Amorphous came out with Skyforger this year, 2009. Opeth was doing Watershed, 2009. I just think that there were other flavors in this that I was more attracted to. And even going back to this, I was like, it's okay. I think I gave it a C.
Oh, man.
I know, I'm sorry.
Night is the New break Brandon's heart.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean,
I think it should be at least a B for.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, given our disagreement, it shouldn't be an A.
No,
but that's all right.
Yeah.
I would argue.
Sure. Yeah. Move tonight's decision up one.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably listen to. Well, these could be interchangeable
Those are
for me.
both fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Tonight's Decision and Brave Murder Day are fucking awesome.
In so many ways, this album feels like the natural extension to Night is the New Day. This album got me through a very hard time in my life. Every song is just amazingly written, and it hits me so hard every single time. So many emotions and so many things about it make it memorable of that time. Heavy, emotionally driven. The Parting, Hypnone, Racing Heart, Lethian, Dead Letters, all of those songs are absolute fucking bangers. And I saw them on this tour, and it just sealed the deal that this is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
S tier for me.
Awesome, dude. I completely support that. I slept on this record for basically a decade. I have not listened to this record until we did this discography, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
I don't know how you did that.
How has this escaped my listening? I don't, dude, blew my mind, man. Like, this is exactly where I wanted them to pick up off of after Great Cold Distance. I mean, I really think that this is where they were, that they wanted to go, but they were kind of releasing other albums and still kind of finding their footing. I love this, man. I completely support this as your S tier because I have it at A.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Dead S Kings.
Dude, those two S tiers kind of like solidify, those are nice bookends for like, you know, somebody maybe new checking out the music and doesn't know where to start.
Yeah, especially like if you want to capture different eras of the band. Cool fun fact about Dead End Kings, they named that record Dead End Kings because they have been called Kings of a Dead End Road. For their career, because there's just such like a niche doom band,
right?
You know, so and they realize that it's a dead end, and I thought that was a really cool thing to call that record.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
You learn stuff here
you
at
do.
Forgemaster.
You forge your knowledge.
Dream back my youth.
The Fall of Hearts was a bit of a fall in their
Not good.
Trajectory, though.
This is where Katatonia let me down.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I saw the total runtime and I was like, an hour and 8 minutes.
Nope.
No. There's got to be bloat in it, for sure is bloated. Like, I imagine that they went to like band practice and they were like, have you guys heard of this band Tool? Like, I really like them. Let's play like them. Like, this is like Tool worship in its most mediocre form. I think that this is super fucking lazy. I think that there are a few okay songs, but this album is completely skippable, if you ask.
I don't know if I'd call it lazy. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry to say lazy, but that's the word that came out.
I think they skipped the songwriting part of this record, and I think they went all in on tech, and it just loses me. It's too much. I love progressive music, but there's no hooks on this album. There's no memorable riffs. I just can't get into it. This is D tier for me.
Yeah, for sure. Bloated, wankery, couple good songs, Sanction, Shifts, Night Subscriber. Those are all kind of like the hit songs on Spotify, but
yeah. City Slumps.
More of a minimalist album, you know, and I think that's fine, you know, because they have done down-tempo, minimalist sorts of stuff in their other albums, some of their interludes and stuff like that. But I didn't want nor expect an entire album of that.
Yeah.
It's not very hooky. It's not very engaging. I owe it to myself to spin this a few more times just because it's not terrible, but it's like I look at some of these other albums and I'm like, oh, I'd much rather listen to those than this one.
Yeah, I feel the exact same. This one is a little bit more down-tempo rock compared to The Fall of Hearts. And there are more hook sections. You can tell that they decided to go a little bit more on the songwriting catchiness direction. The electronic elements are a little weird for me. I know that they've been experimenting with that for years, but it just kind of misses. I can't connect with the newer material over the memorable and catchy stuff of their early discography. Amazing production, though. I will give them that. It does sound amazing. Some good tracks, too. Like Behind the Blood was really good. The Winter of Our Passing is awesome, but man, this is just another miss for me. I put it in D tier.
Yeah, I have it at C. So, I mean, wherever you want to put it.
I mean, it's definitely an upgrade above
Fall of Hearts,
but
sure.
It is way worse than December Souls, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd rather listen to December Souls.
Escape before the change. Shut down my mind.
Sky Void of Stars, your boys in Katatonia are back. I'm just saying. I was worried. I was worried that Katatonia would do more of the same with their progressive, sacrificing catchiness to do tech. But I'm happy to say that this album had some emotional, amazing earworm sections that honestly were kind of goosebump inducing. They brought back those catchy melodies, the songwriting, and they just knocked this album out of the park. There's some goosebump inducing songs on this album, dude.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I think that I love that you told us about how they've been called the dead end, kings, basically, because it's super hard to predict their trajectory. It's like, where are they going to go? You don't really know. They are so original that they can kind of do anything, and you just hope that the fans will follow them. But this feels super original. It's classy, it's well-paced, and it's still harnessing a lot of that like melodic, gothic, melancholic charm that the band has always done so fucking well. Jonas and the rest of the squad, I think they sound better than ever, utilizing influences from a variety of genres, dream pop and prog
Definitely.
and gothic. Dude, and the solos?
Insane.
Holy
Insane.
fucking shit. Thank you for putting some epic solos on here, guys. Like, it elevates this album. It's not just like wankery.
Yeah.
Nice treat. The band still has it, dude. Songs like Colossal Shade, Authors, Atrium. I have this at B+, but honestly, like looking at the list here, I'd stick it at A. I think that it deserves maybe an A spot.
Yeah, I mean, we may want to revisit some stuff here, but I can see why you would rank it an A. I mean, here's the thing. This is one of their best produced and composed records that they've done in years. The compositions are insane. Production's insane. Impermanence alone is one of the most mind-blowing Katatonia songs that they have ever written. Authors, Drab Moon, Opalines, absolutely stunning. There are one or two kind of miss rock songs on this record for me. I think some people will really like them because they're really leaning into the catchy part of it. But this record is a slam fucking dunk, dude. It is such a good album. So I could totally see it being an A.
Now let's
but
revisit.
Is it as good as The Great Cold Distance?
Right. I would say no. Because that album, like, I listened to Sky Void of Stars, enjoyed it a lot, and then later in the day, I was humming Great Cold Distance songs. Just because they have that kind of pattern, of like, how they do things. Once you hear their formula, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. And so,
If I had to do one swap here, and I know you're going to disagree with me, and that's completely fine.
Okay.
I would swap Sky Void of Stars spot with Night is the New Day spot, because I personally think Night is the New Day is slightly better, but I know you don't agree, because you would probably rather listen to Sky Void of Stars than Night is the New Day.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Here's what I'm going to propose.
Okay.
We're gonna break character. It's an A-.
A-. So we have A+, A, and A- in the A tier. Yeah, fuck it. That's cool. And I know how much that you enjoy Night is the New Day, and I'd hate to see it, outside of where you would be comfortable with it.
I'm
We're all
also
about compromise here.
I'm also fine with, that's fine. Actually, we'll do that.
Okay.
If you think, I could totally see Sky Void of Stars being A tier. It absolutely is that great. It's not as good as Great Cold Distance. In my opinion, it's not as good as Night is the New Day. But Scarfy Boy over here rated it so low that
What are you talking about?
I think this is awesome. I honestly, out of all the records that I would listen to, the ones that we rated, all the ones at the top 4, and then the first one in the B tier, those are my common revisits.
Yep, for sure, man. I think this is a great list from one of our favorite bands. We've been listening to this band for like fucking a decade plus now.
Most of my Doom riffs are ripped off from this band.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, this looks great, man. I like this a lot.
Yeah, me too. So that's our ranking. What's your ranking? Leave it down in the comments below. Check out this killer list of all the bands that we've ranked their discographies, including Obituaries, Dying of Everything, and check out this list of our best 2022 Doom.
Go with the gods, Forgemates. Let the cities bury you alive.
See you next time.